My name is Elizabeth Thelmany. I also work with Paula in Ag Law Education Initiative. And as you can see, there is a lot of collaborators on this project. Right now we are working on sharing our results with all of you guys. Thank you guys for filling out surveys. We have all of this online, the full reports. I also have on the two side tables, there's a few copies left, and then there's flash drives with a bunch of these resources and information uploaded, and then you also get a free flash drive, and there's also some converters if you need that. So this is what you can find on the MDA website about the Maryland Waste Technology Fund. It's been around now for 10 years, so they kind of came to the University of Maryland, an extension, and they were wondering, what are the results after 10 years? What are we looking at? What is the progress? Have we been handing out the funds the right way? Is there been an impact, a positive impact? And so that's where this project came to be. And so the current goal of the Animal Waste Technology Fund and where the money comes from is Maryland Department of Ag through some Chesapeake funds as well. They're conservation grants. And they're for an opportunity for operations to get money for innovative technology in Maryland as alternative waste management strategies and solutions for agriculture while we balance nutrients in the state. And so again, the motive is really to continue to reduce nutrient levels entering the bay while promoting profitability amongst Maryland farmers so that we're making the most out of the waste that can come from animal operations in the state. So this is some of our goals as the project and some of the things I'll be talking through here today. So I was in charge of making the maps. My background is also in geoinformation sciences. So this map, there's a lot going on. I was trying to show a lot of things in one map. All of these orange dots are where all of our animal operations for chickens are. So the CAFO were the concentrated animal feeding operations. So if you have a nutrient management plan with MDE, your permit data was used to see where you are. And so we also have livestock, and then we have some multi-farm operations. As you all probably know in this room, we have a lot of chickens on the Eastern Shore, and then most of our cattle, whether it's beef cattle or dairy cattle, are up north and west in Maryland. So this is just to show where they are. Also, we can see where our current technologies are in the state. So we have our anaerobic digesters amongst the chicken operations. Then we have our pyrolysis site up here, also bordering Delaware, who has obviously a lot of chickens down there. And then we have also composting units in the state that take animal waste or animal, other large concentration animals. Then we have our injection sites. That's also another animal waste technology. Another map here, so we looked at 4 different data sources to estimate the nutrients per county. And so we saw where a lot of the nutrients were, and then seeing if the current technologies line up with where the nutrients are, because we don't want to be trucking a lot of this long distances. So part of this and what we wanted to show MDA was our technologies line up with where the nutrients are. That's the biggest thing coming off this slide. You can see I've given this presentation to people who are less familiar with animal waste technologies. So showing what they look like, we have manure injection, we have an anaerobic digester, and then we have pyrolysis. Their whole report breaks all these down. We have some fact sheets coming out that explains each of these technologies, what they do, the benefits they can have, and so forth. Other major takeaways looking at nutrients over time in the state is that we're seeing pretty consistent levels across time. Of course, this was during COVID, so there's some interruptions for production, and then, of course, the nutrients coming off of production for animals. We are still predicting and seeing a decline in dairy cattle and the manure nutrients coming off of dairy cattle in the state, while the rest of the animals and their waste stay about the same. Okay, so some key takeaways. We are seeing a major shift to renewable energy generation policies, incentives, not just in the state, but nationwide, and a lot of investments going into infrastructure for solar and wind. They also have lower costs associated with them, so that kind of leaves animal waste technologies sometimes as more expensive alternative at this point. This graph will show that that over time, bioenergy and some of these, the cost to generate a unit of energy over time has stayed the same for bioenergy, whereas for solar and wind, it's decreased as it's become more efficient. And so if we're not seeing these same levelized decreases in costs over time, then bioenergy production like anaerobic digestion or composting and so forth are less competitive without policies and incentives. So we wanted to point that out to MDA and the state in general. Some of our survey results from you guys, we saw overall that anaerobic digestion is supported in Maryland or unknown. There's not a ton of people in the agriculture community against anaerobic digestion. We also saw that there's a lot of manure injection happening in the state. It is a more easier to get involved, less of a big startup cost at the front end to apply manure injection. And that this next survey slide shows that a primary concern of adopting these technologies and other animal waste strategies is the policy concerns. So government regulations is 43%. Availability, again, we were talking about how they have some high startup costs, especially beyond manure injection. And then nutrient management plans and runoff. So overall, we just see that government regulations and concerns of being, within your staying legal and out of trouble was a big concern for operators in the state. So a summary of our impediments to adoption of animal waste technologies now and going forward in the state is really lack of specific regulating and government support. How does it look compared to other renewables, whether it's the public or from the policy end? There's actually a bill that was just introduced into the State General Assembly that would change the renewable how the state looks at the use of waste as a renewable energy in the state and making it less favorable, so keep an eye on that. Things like that are only going to set bioenergy and other types of using nutrients from the farm as energy and other nutrients to put back onto the farm as less favorable. And then limited subsidies, especially compared to, again, the other renewables that have become more affordable. So our recommendations for MDA, linking MDE and MDA goals with greenhouse gas reductions. There's a whole other part of this report I didn't get to touch on today about reducing greenhouse gas emissions if we inject manure or if we use the energy that comes once the nutrients are breaking down rather than just letting it go into the air. So you can actually reduce greenhouse gas emissions through some of these technologies. Streamlining feedstock, so if we can these sites have to always have something to feed off of, so if there's not nutrients from the farm, if we can balance out with compost and other things coming off of the rest of Maryland, that could be helpful for feedstock for the technologies. And then renewable energy policy challenges, again, what is our state and our federal government doing in weighing agriculture and other renewable energy sources? This is a QR code to the actual report. Again, there's a few copies in the USB drives. You can also, it's just on the, it's really easy to Google. But we're here because we're knowing that we need to just increase understanding of what's out there for animal waste technologies and share this information. And then just also having the political stakeholders in the state see this as maybe an opportunity rather than something to get behind rather than against. Yeah, and then just a general more collaboration between state agencies. Awesome.
I'm Connor Vincent. I'm with King Crop Insurance. I'm an agent there. We are out of Georgetown, Delaware. We can cover any of your crop needs. As you know, sales closing is March 15th, so that's your corn, soybeans, anything like that. We did see revenue losses this year, the way corn prices are right now and the talk of where they'll be in the fall. we'll probably see it again. So make sure your coverage is where you want it to be in case that does happen. We also do livestock, dairy, beef, cattle, swine, crop, hail. We're in there. So if you have any questions or need coverage, come see us.